Well, Amy and I assumed that having sex with Jax would be a 10 out of 10, but boy, are our faces red today. Brittany recently confirmed that sex with Jax is something close to a 7 or 8, but every once in a while he would squeak out a 2 out of 10 in the bedroom.
I saw someone posted that. I think E posted that quote, and she commented on it and was like, let me be clear. That was a response to a question. And after everything I've been through, I have every right to say that. And I was like, who thought that you were just saying that unsolicited? Like, it sounds like the answer to a question.
Yeah, and where was the pushback coming from?
Right.
I'm sure most people assumed it was on between a 2 and a 7 or 8 every once in a while between Jax and Brittany having sex. Yeah, she had to really clear that thing up. Damage control. Do you think Jax he might have said, "Why'd you say that?"
Probably. I'm sure she got some rage texts. I also saw, I couldn't tell when this was from. Someone posted like Jax commenting on someone that posted a picture of Brittany. Oh, this was in September, so it's old, but they posted a picture of Brittany out at like an event saying like Brittany looking gorge, and he responded, she doesn't look like that and she was hammered. And the person said, what do you mean she doesn't look like that? Isn't this her? And he goes, she edits her pics.
Oh my God, he said that back in September about her. Oh my
Like
God, that is
through the
horrible.
DMs, like, can you just like relax?
Yeah, that's awful. I mean, they're going to war now. This is, well, I mean, I gotta say about this news story, I kind of, but contrary to what I said, 7 or 8 every once in a while. Like, I was pretty, I don't think that was so bad. It's the twos. She goes, what did she say? He lacked stamina. Uh,
Yeah.
every once in a while, and he would just give me a 2 out of 10. Obviously, that
I felt like
hurts.
she was saying that was the norm. Like, I feel like she was saying he used to maybe be a 7 or an 8, but like the general experience more commonly was a 2 or a 3.
Well, maybe the 2 or 3s out of 10 were when he was high on coke or drunk.
I love that you're trying to like, you're like, we have to figure out why would she say this? Why isn't he good at sex? There has to be a reason.
No, it's true. I don't need to ever think. I mean, I guess like when you were thinking in your mind something for so long, 10 out of 10 sex man, it's shocking.
I never thought that.
No, I'm kind of glad that Brittany cleared up those rumors. It makes sense to me now, and now everyone in the world knows that it's between a 2, mostly a 2, and then
Remember,
every
was it
once in a while.
Taylor and Green that said that
Yes.
Shep was a selfish lover and
Yeah.
poor?
Yeah,
Like
he
that?
would. Yeah, he would famously blow. He would famously just want a little piece for himself, and then not give Taylor and Green anything. But also, you and I sometimes talk about how when relationships end, sometimes every once in a while, someone does say like, by the way, they're should I say this, that they'll be like, by the way, his penis is microscopic. That like
Right.
Lala and Randall's a good
Yeah.
example. When she said she used to say Randall's. This is so sexual, but she'd be like, Randall's hung like a horse, and we have sex for 10 hours a day. And then immediately when they broke up, she said, Randall has no penis. You barely can see it through his in his under his pants and stuff. And it's just like, you know what I mean? It's like I don't know if it's just,
Retribution.
yeah, a little bit of retribution, but I can confirm that, or not, I can't confirm, but I think Brittany is telling the truth. I think she was really honest on Watch What Happens Live about that.
I agree. She seemed like she was having fun on there.
I think so too. I liked how they put it. I like how they had. Was it Kristen's green dress with big eyes that was asking that
Yeah.
question?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Who was Brittany with again?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it was Luke, right?
Oh, of course. God forbid I remember his face for a single second. He was, again, not ready for prime time on there. Andy was like, I've had enough of you.
Yeah, I gotta say, I didn't get a chance to watch that full Watch What Happens Live yet. But I heard that Luke was, some people were texting me saying Luke was kind of flopping like a fish up there. Is that
Oh,
true?
yeah. Yeah, I was just like, when I saw him there, I was like, why was he the one? Like
You
what?
know, I think every cast gets a little taste of Watch What Happens. All the cast members get a little taste this season. They're filming a reunion you sent me, or I mean,
Yes.
coming up soon. I think that's a huge testament to the Valley's quality.
Do they usually film it this early?
You know, I think a month before it's going to end. We're only
Well, I
at the
guess
third.
they also had to get Kristen in under the wire,
Oh,
probably.
that's true. Maybe it's a little earlier than usual. Well, besides, I gotta say on my end, I'm feeling like a 2 out of 10 on news. I just had the sex Britney stuff. Did you have anything else before we maybe talk about Summer House?
Did you see that Gabby Prescott called Craig Conover insufferable and said he had a god complex?
Oh my God. I saw that just as a headline, but I didn't dig into it. Did you listen to the clip?
No.
You know, it's one of those things where I think the worst, but if I watched it, maybe she'd be like laughing. You know what I mean? It sounds horrible, and but I also can I be honest?
Please.
My first instinct was I think Gabby, hearing that Gabby wanted to say he's like a god or he proclaims himself as God, was just kind of wanting to get in on the Paige and Craig thing, and she's got sort of a tangential relationship to Craig through Paige, and I felt like maybe she just wanted the last piece of the cake, the anti-Craig cake, right before it's never going to be talked about again. But she could have had firsthand experience where Craig was saying, I'm a god, I'm infallible. I don't doubt that maybe he acted like that, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like why, I guess, maybe my main take is that I don't need to go back. I'm not going to ever hate Craig. They didn't turn him into a Sandoval from this. You know what I mean? I barely even have any animus towards how he handled the breakup with Paige. It's not even a drop of animus. Do you?
Well, as you know, I was never his biggest fan in the first place, so I always have one eye open for him.
But did he, on your scale of 1 to 10, you were already bordering on a 4
Yeah.
or 5? Did that drop him how he behaved with his? I felt bad for him at the Southern Charm reunion. He was kind he was kind of like going through it. I felt sad for him. He's like, I lost the love of my life. Please don't ask me any more questions about this.
Yeah, I thought he was a little petulant about it on like Watch What Happens Live, and I don't think he necessarily needed to defend her against the cheating rumors or whatever, but I think he kind of used that as like a tool to make her look bad and to make himself look victimized a little bit. But I found the whole thing to be particularly uninteresting, and I think if they both, I think she tried harder than him to not make it a thing. And then once he made it a thing, she was like, well, let's fucking go then.
Yeah, the gloves were off. But it left no residual after effects on me. I don't even think about it anymore, to be honest.
Yeah.
I really
we
don't.
After the Summer House finale, we can really be done with it
Oh.
forever. She's thriving. He's in Bahamas with Tommy Bahamas.
Daughter, right? The heir to his entire fortune. I mean, they're both having the best time of their lives. I think we said that. He's he's going to be the new Jake from State Farm pretty soon, the way Craig acted his ass off in that ad. And then Paige is #1 or #2 on the New York Times bestseller. I mean, oh my God. Talk about, what's it called when you, it's like they're just having the best, time of their lives, even though it's independent from each other.
Tears on them. The only other thing I'll say about Brittany on Watch What Happens was that someone asked if Stassi has reached out to her during all this madness, and she said not at all. She says she's run into her at like Disney on Ice and like some other kids events. And that they're always cordial and she always gives her a hug and stuff, but that they're really not in touch. And Andy was like, is this still about you guys not going to her wedding? And she goes, there's a lot that people don't know about that.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh my God, what? But it sounded like it was in regards to Jax.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I bet Jax did even more stuff. Like try to get I was going to say like tried to bring Coke with him, to Italy and stuff. No, I'm just kidding.
As Parmesan.
Yeah, no. But I bet you can't even imagine. I bet they gave us the tamest rendition of what the hell Jax was doing behind the scenes about that
Did
wedding.
you say that was in her book?
Yeah, she talks about it a little bit. I can't remember right now specifically, but I think that's sad. I really think Brittany should be considered fully unburdened from Jax now, and Brittany should just say to everyone, hey, I was with Jax, but his behavior was 90% horrible, and I had to make, account for him all of the time. And it was my relationship, but now I can honestly acknowledge that he treated you all like shit, and I should have never been the sounding board for him. Like
Yeah.
everyone should start fresh with Brittany. Katie, Stassi, who else burned their bridge with Brittany? Everyone should just give her a fresh start. It's not her fault that she.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, people say. I mean, a little bit of, she probably should have pushed back a little bit on Jax's behavior, but it's time to forgive Brittany, don't you think?
'Tis the season. It's Britney, bitch.
I was thinking about Disney on Ice really quick because you said that. First of all, I want to go so bad. Is it a hockey arena?
Probably.
Do they adapt the songs to mention that they're on ice?
I don't know.
Because imagine, I was just the only thing that sorry, the only thing I was thinking is that Frozen must hit so hard on
Oh, yeah.
ice.
That's probably a huge market.
Like when she sings "Let It Go" and then because have you seen Frozen?
It's been a long time.
It's amazing. It's anything else it touches. If she
Oh, yeah,
can't
I
control
forgot
herself,
that's the one movie you like.
oh my god, I love Frozen so much. So they could have the floor. Just bear with me for a second. They could have the floor completely covered, the ice, with some sort of curtain or blanket, and then when that character goes to touch it down during Let It Go, they could pull it and make the entire ice rink appear.
He's sick. I hope you go and you can tell me
Yeah.
all about it.
Well, let's end this Britney or that Stassi Britney thing by. Do you agree with me that people should start fresh with Britney and not hold her to the horrible things that Jax was most likely doing behind the scenes and ruining all of his relationships around town? Or do you think she holds some?
I mean, I think it just depends on the level of your relationship. Like, if Jax, formed a wedge and you guys just got less and less close over the years, and she did shit to piss you off, probably because of him, but also, she's an adult, then if you haven't been friends for a long time, then maybe you're just like, yeah, like we're like acquaintances now, and then maybe something will happen later when they get closer. But, it's like, I
Yeah.
don't think Stassi's like running around like trying to get new friends.
You're right. Stassi's so happy in her life with that new cast that she introduced on
Although-
Vanderpump Villa.
I need to actually watch Vanderpump Villa because I didn't know all of the lore about that, like that Beau potentially is inappropriate with his sister. I was reading all the comments on like a TikTok about that scenario where he has a sister. Apparently she was his long lost sister.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. And that I saw the clip where the sister was like, there's a thing where sometimes when people meet their siblings, but they don't know that they're siblings, they're hot for each other.
Of course.
And I was like, yeah, actually, we do need to talk about this. Maybe Stassi was right.
Yeah, and we talked about this before, but he has Georgiana written on him, right? He immediately got her name tattooed on him because he was so excited to meet his long lost sister. Are they blood related? Is that what you say?
Don't ask me.
Yeah, I don't know either. I would want to watch Vanderpump Villa for that. And also, Megan was telling me, spoiler, she goes, you're not going to finish Vanderpump Villa, so let me say some stuff. And apparently, this is spoilers, please. We're spoiling the shit out of Vanderpump Villa because Amy and I are obviously not watching it and don't care at all. But apparently, my least favorite couple in the world, the thing that I think makes Vanderpump Villa pure shit, Marciano and Hannah get their asses kicked to the curb by Lisa because someone's barfing and Hannah barges in and the person was naked while they were barfing and they thought it was a violation of their privacy. And so Marciano and Hannah Lisa had to fire him and kick him off the show halfway through. And they were really a detriment to my enjoyment.
Oh, wow.
So that kind of made me interested in it a little bit.
Interesting.
I couldn't imagine what behavior gets you kicked off of Vanderpump Villa. They don't work. They don't do anything. The guests are completely fake. Like the concept, like I already said, makes no sense. So how the hell do you get kicked off this show? But apparently
Yeah.
Marciano and Hannah did.
Wow. I think Lisa, I saw out of the corner of my eye when I was watching Watch What Happens Tonight that Lisa's going to be on alone.
Oh my God. Well, that she did that once before. Do you remember at the height of Scandival? You
The
remember?
one-on-one.
Yeah, that's Andy loves those when he just gets Lisa all to himself. They're going to talk about so much stuff. I hope he asks about Marciano and Hannah.
Yeah, I hope she gets drunk and talks too much.
I've heard that whispers that even Stassi thinks Vanderpump Villa is pure shit.
That doesn't surprise me. I really think she just wanted the free trip and like to bring everyone she knows with her.
She does say that a lot of times. Like, this is a great trip for me. I love that I get to bring my whole family. This is a great trip for me. Like, she doesn't really, like have a, she doesn't really make it seem like the premise is what drove her there.
Right. The only other update I have is that we recorded before the Valley after show. Do you want me to give you any highlights from that for?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Please. I'm gonna close my eyes,
Take
and
it off.
I want those updates to wash over me, if you don't
All
mind.
right. I'm gonna do like bullets, and then if there's anything that you feel I must stop for, let me know.
Can I? What's my code word when I want to ask a question? Should I say please stop?
Bananas.
All right. Okay. All right. Let me close my eyes.
Danny's blackout incident was at Jax's bar. He doesn't remember it. Brock was there and said that he grabbed Danny and was like, "What the fuck, bro? You got to get your shit together." And that
Bananas. Did Danny say what he was dressed as?
I don't think he did.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
And then when Jasmine brought it up on camera, apparently Danny said, "How dare you do this to me?" Like, he was so pissed that she brought it up on camera.
At the start of that conversation that they flash back to,
Yeah.
they should have included it.
I
Him
know.
saying, "How dare you?"
I know. Like, he was like, "You are cornering me right now, and I'm so fucked now."
Danny, I gotta tell you how reality television works, my friend. You say to Luke that in the boys' chat, Jesse's accusing Michelle of sleeping with a billionaire. That's getting onto the show. You grabbing ass on Halloween night at Jackson Studio City with two of the cast members.
I know.
One of the cast members. That's getting on the show. I'm sorry,
I know.
Danny.
Yeah, so she was like, "I'm only bringing it up because you haven't apologized to my girlfriend yet." And then apparently there was a game of telephone where Brittany had called Nia, who wasn't at that party, and told her what had happened. She was like, "If I were you, I'd want to know." And it got misconstrued where she heard Michelle. So Danny called Jesse/Michelle to apologize because he didn't remember who it was.
So he said, "Michelle, I have to apologize for grabbing your ass on Halloween night." And Michelle goes, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Yeah, which I was like, I guess, I mean, it doesn't like excuse anything, but I'm like, damn, if he really doesn't even know who the fuck it was, that means he
my
really was
God.
blackout.
Oh my God.
Then let's see here. I texted you about this earlier, but I love this little detail because they're going back and forth about how complicated Jesse and Michelle's divorce is and how he won't agree to any of the terms, and she thinks he's trying to block her from getting remarried. And Jax, as you know, you can imagine him saying this. He goes, "The only one that wins in this scenario is the lawyers."
Oh, yeah. I'm sure he's said that a few times.
And Schwartz goes, "When me and Katie got divorced, it took us like an hour and it cost $1,000 and we fist bumped at the end." And I was like, that's the best news I've heard all day. Like, the one time that them having no libido or like fire for life was actually for the best.
That is amazing. You never hear stories like that. My divorce was one of the easiest in history. 1 hour.
Can you do it on like LegalZoom if you want?
You know what? It's one of those things where I'm not planning on getting divorced, but it's one of those things where I need to see it firsthand. I've heard a lot of stories, all these horrible Erica Janes. Oh, she's not even divorced. All these horrible divorces. Bethany's. Oh, don't get me started on Bethany's.
Oh, that's the
I
worst.
bet though, firsthand, if you and I have to experience, or I experience that personally, I bet I'll get a glimpse at some different type of stuff. I mean, who knows what it's actually like? You know what I mean? I don't believe that it's that hard unless you have like, you know, skinny girl margarita or something where you got to split that. Because Jason was, remember, wearing like a hard hat in the factory, and he was
right.
a part of it a little bit.
Yeah, horrible.
Well, that's good to hear though it was so easy. That's a nice little anecdote.
Yeah, totally. And then they talk about Jax and his coke habit a little bit. He said he couldn't go out like with friends or go out at night, or he said even like a hockey game, like anything social, he ended up doing coke. And Schwartz goes, I love that he just said this on camera. He goes, "You did blow like most people get casual drinks." And he's like, but now with the fentanyl.
He did? Oh my God. I wonder what Jax's cocaine strategy was when he was going out. Like, because if he was doing it that regularly, he must have been a fentanyl strip guy. Don't you think?
I know. I hope so.
I hope so too. Oh my God. Yeah, so it sounds like Jax is declared officially. We all know that I think a couple other cast members have probably done it once or twice in their lives. But Jax, it seems like even Schwartz and Sandoval are aghast that Jax is the outlier, a bump all the time, whenever he is drinking.
Yeah,
puts them to shame.
He said he never did it. I mean, he claims he didn't do it like at home. It was only like for partying reasons, which I remember Carl said that he moved into Lindsay's building to get a clean slate and say, "I will not do drugs in this new apartment." And he said it took him like, I don't remember, it was like a very short amount of time before he started doing drugs at home again and just had a bowl of Coke on his coffee table. But yeah, I feel like there's a line between Carl.
Carl had a bowl of Coke and he was doing it solo in his house.
Yeah, he tried to move to be like, "This is my sober apartment," and then it wasn't. But yeah, I feel like once you cross the line of going from like doing it at the bars to like doing it at home is like the next echelon. You know?
That doesn't translate to having a drink alone in your house, does it?
Not the same.
Okay, good. Okay.
I don't acknowledge alcohol issues.
No, me neither. Anything else from that fabulous after show that I should have watched?
Really just, it's like divorce talk. Michelle says that before COVID they were doing, and before they had Isabella, they were doing really well. They did like a $20 million deal, a $40 million deal, a $60 million deal. And they were 50-50 partners. But then once she had the baby, she didn't work. And then she said that Jesse worked less. So they're just like pointing fingers till the end of time. And then the last thing I'll say is that the boys chat apparently is just rife with "my marriage sucks" memes.
Oh my God.
And that Stassi made Bo leave the group.
No
chat.
way. So at one point, someone said, "Don't get me started on my wife. She
It's like a woman with a rolling pin."
Yeah, but this is my wife after I have one beer alone. And then it said, "Bo has left the conversation." Could you imagine if you were the last meme that was sent in that chat that made Bo have to leave?
Oh my God. Yeah. Apparently Danny got removed from the group chat after he was discovered to be the mole. And that I think Brock's in there too, because he was saying that he was like, the shit they say in there is miserable. Like, it's all just about how they hate their wives.
Oh my God. This boys chat is the most fertile thing. Like the most I cannot believe how much we're talking about this beautiful boys chat. I need a sneak peek so bad in there to see what the hell this thing is like.
I know, just like anything. Just show me anything. Like, how was there no screenshots at all?
I don't know.
Is it because like not everyone on it is like approved?
Maybe it's always in that disappearing ink.
Oh, right.
Do you know what I'm talking about? When you can send a scrambled image and say, like, "I'm going to spoil Game of Thrones," and you can send a photo of
I use that a lot.
Me too.
For
oh my God.
Effect.
Oh my God. I love that too. Well, I don't know what else I was going to say about that boys chat, but I can't believe Danny got banned. Oh, I was going to say overall that damn, that after show is integral to the viewing experience of The Valley, and I'm never going to miss another after show again in my life.
I know, it is unfortunate that I think we usually 9 times out of 10 have to record before it's out, but I'll always follow up if it's pertinent.
Good. I have a tip for Bravo, or what's it called when you give advice? Pop-up video episodes on Peacock where it incorporates the after show anecdotes, a little asterisk at the bottom. It says Danny got kicked out of the boys chats shortly after this conversation. Wouldn't that be kind of fun?
Good. Yeah. Yeah. Because context is fun.
Do you remember pop-up video?
Yeah.
It'd be like Axl Rose,
shit his pants.
It'd be like Axl Rose demanded a live zebra on this Guns N' Roses shoot, but they only had to settle for a horse. And I'd be watching that when I was 13. I'd be like, "Oh my God."
Yeah, I was like eating up 80s trivia on VH1 my whole childhood.
It was me too. I was watching. Every time I think back, I was like, I was watching a lot of television when I was young. I've started putting. I have morning shifts with Penny, and she wakes up at like 5:30 or 6, and so I'm kind of like, I don't want to sound horrible, but I will put on like Paramount Plus and put on Little Bear, but I got tired of it and I put on Rugrats, and I almost remember like every single episode of Rugrats, which is so wild. I haven't watched it since I was 12 years old, but I must have been going nuts on Rugrats to know like almost every plot.
I just got a clip on TikTok of Rugrats where it was so sad. It was about Chucky's dead mom. Do you remember that?
I haven't gotten there yet. I'm only in season 2, but I remember that's why. Actually, I gotta say, I watched. Well, never. Well, let's not talk about Rugrats. But
I'm like, how about one Saturday morning? Don't get me started.
Oh yeah,
Recess.
Oh my God, so good. Oh, Recess. Yeah, that's why I'm like, oh my God, how much TV was I allowed to watch? It was like
unlimited.
Yeah, I think it was 7 hours a day for every. Anyway, well, and hey, I guess it worked out.
Look,
what are we doing now?
That's what my mom always says. She tries to rub it in my dad's face. She's like, she made a career out of it, and I'm like, well, I.
Definitely a career.
Doing amazing.
I mean, this is definitely a career. Yeah, I mean, that's how we're able to watch 7 hours of content a night and have eagle eyes and get a fine-tooth comb out for everything we watch. Don't you think?
We have our Malcolm Gladwell 10,000 hours, like by far.
That's
like,
why
probably in Bravo alone, at least.
That's why we recap the shit out of this stuff, right?
Who else could do this?
No, I don't think very many people. Last thing I'll say, Real Housewives of Miami. We don't have to get specific, because I know you and I are going to go on a Miami journey together, but before June 11th, because this shit is coming out.
Oh wow. Okay.
June 11th. So you've speaking of binging 7 hours
shit.
a day, but it looks amazing. For Miami heads, this is where I'll talk about it a little bit. We have 2 huge separations/divorces, which are going to be fundamental shifts in the dynamics. Todd and Alexia are breaking up, but I just saw a photo of them actually making out. Sorry to transition away, but they were just seen on a beach lifting each other up and hugging and kissing. So I don't know how that's going to play into it. And then also Marcus, Jordan, and Larsa, unfortunately. They had one of the most beautiful relationships I've ever seen in reality television history. And then they broke up horribly in the off season, so we're going to watch that. And then there's a bunch of other shit that I'm interested in, but we'll talk about that more once we actually get into the premiere episode. All I can say is that it looks amazing, and I'm so excited for Miami to be back. And I'm also excited for you to go on your Miami journey, because there's a lot of wonderful stuff that has never happened on any other franchise that happens on Miami. So it's going to be very fun to talk about, I think.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to having something to binge, like... I don't have to take notes or anything. I can just watch it.
You're gonna binge the shit out of it. I'm gonna say when we start our Miami conversation, I'm gonna tell you my golden 5 things, and maybe that's how we can start our Miami discussion. My 5 favorite things in Miami history, and that'll get the ball rolling when we start to address that. But how do you feel about no longer talking about Miami and quite possibly switching gears fully to the latest episode of Summer House?
Let's do it. Pillow fight. Unrelated to Craig.
Pillow fight and Craig's pillow talk with the pillow store. And pillow fight is about Jesse and Lexi fighting, and there's pillows all around them from that party. Do you like that title?
It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, kind of like...
It'd be better if it was about Craig.
Yeah, that should have been the title. We always say this, and I'm sure people are tired of us talking about titles because nobody even cares about them, but that should have been when Craig was doing the pirate and talking to Paige, and they had that fight. That would have been fun, but... Yeah,
if it was Craig, the fight happened at this party instead of the pirate party, it would have been on all cylinders.
Yeah, it would have, that would have been a shoo-in for the title.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's pick up right where we left off. I love it. This party is still going on. I love when they split parties in half because I go, oh, last episode I loved this party. And then you find out a week later you're still in that fun party. So I love this splitting of that. And they are doing all of the things that people at a sleepy party would do, right? Like there's some... West is loving his life in his costume. He's having the time of his life, dressed as a sleepy, sort of Scrooge-esque person, right?
Yes.
With a big cap, pajamas, a candlestick, and so we're back in there completely. And where we left off last week was that Carl wanted to talk to Sierra, and right when they're about to talk, there's a huge power generator malfunction, which thankfully West had that candle because it ends up being able to light various aspects of the party while it's shrouded in pure darkness, and then allows for Carl and Sierra to have this sort of conversation that they wanted to have.
Yeah, they have the conversation while Carl's carrying one of those like Indiana Jones torches.
Yeah, they had to get to a spot where they could see each other. And this is the conversation that I've been talking about for weeks. I saw a glimpse of this. It's actually true. It's real. In real life, in the real Summer House canon, this is all true. I didn't just make this up. Carl professes love / crush, a crush on Sierra. What did you think seeing this in real time? How did you feel?
It was riding on, I'm trying to think of a better word, not cringe, but like uncomfortable. Like I was scared of what was going to happen. And I think ultimately I landed on that it was sweet because of the way that she handled it. And even on Watch What Happens, she said there was a poll, was it cute or cringe? And it started to scale to cringe. And Sierra goes, no, you guys, it was cute. So like she frankly enjoyed it. So I was like, okay. And when he was just complimenting her in all the myriad of ways, I was like, honestly, that's nice. I thought she handled it well, but it was kind of sad, I thought.
I felt very bad for Carl. Let's dissect it a little bit. Don't make me sad. But first of all, Sierra was on Watch What Happens Live and I missed it. God damn it. And then second of all, did it go to cringe on that scale?
I believe it did.
To what, 70, 80?
It might have been what you call a landslide.
No, they're so mean on those polls.
I think it's like 17 people, literally.
I know, but I want to get extra weight on those polls. If I log in, I want to count for 10 or 15 points and try to scale them. They're always so mean. I never agree with those polls ever in my life. Okay.
Did you see? Sorry, this is a non sequitur. Did you see that now there's Now You See Me 3s coming out soon? Now You 3 Me. And
is it called Now You 3 Me?
It's not.
Oh my God. I heard that it was like a magic trick because it appeared out of nowhere.
Yes.
Is that true?
Well, you mean no one knew that?
No one knew that it was.
Out?
Yeah, no one knew it was coming.
I had heard about it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have my ear to the ground. But they did a billboard, like a digital billboard in Times Square that had a phone number on it, and it turned out that whoever subscribed to it got Venmo'd $119.
For how long?
I think like they only like once it was closed. I have a feeling they had a bank of cash for a certain amount, and then divided by however many people participated, they got that amount. You know,
why was it 119? Because it was a specific.
That's my guess. Is that they were like, we were going to spend $50,000 divided by however many people,
and you don't have to spend it to even buy a ticket.
I think it's just your Venmo.
And now it's over.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I could have gotten $119
if you
just
were
randomly
in Times Square 4 days ago.
How many cast members of the Summer House probably got to get that?
That's true. I was just in New York. I wish I would have done it. I like that franchise.
Oh, we've never talked about it. 1 and 2 are good.
I had a great time with him, and I like Jesse Eisenberg. He said on this press tour he was just on for Oscars and stuff that it's the most challenging role he ever did because it's so far from his character.
Oh, is he kind of, I can't even think of what the opposite of Jesse Eisenberg is like.
Like confident and like jazzy and I think like kind of an asshole.
Oh, I gotta see that. Oh, wow. Okay, I'll watch that franchise. I was gonna say, if the timing worked out, what franchise could do a Bravo Now You See Me tie-in?
Oh yeah.
Where everyone goes to the movies. It says you got to see this film. Like they would do a magic show dinner or something. What franchise is going to be? Salt Lake City?
I guess so.
Yeah, they could, but they could potentially go to Now You See Me 3 and tie it into the Bravo season, if they wanted to. Just it's marketing advice, I guess. But anyway, back to Carl and Sierra. Back to Carl and Sierra. Carl introduces this conversation by saying, Sierra says, you don't date blondes anymore, and Carl goes, yeah, we both need brunettes. Speaking of brunettes, I have something that I have to tell you. And then Sierra is kind of nervous for what he's going to say. I think she knows that this is going to be a tough conversation, because at this point, I don't think that she does have those type of feelings for Carl. I was 50-50 on it.
On what?
I 50-50 on thinking that maybe, because I thought quite possibly Sierra maybe had been not pining for Carl, but would be more receptive to it than she was. But I think the house entanglements have really skewed Sierra away from doing any kind of shit. I mean, she's had so much evidence of what it does. The West stuff to her, Austin getting a blowjob from Lindsay, eating McDonald's when she was dating him. Like, there's just been way too much stuff that now a golden rule for her is never again, and especially when you've got Lindsay on the other end. So I think that that's why it was just an instant red flashing sign of no, but also, quite possibly she's just not interested in, Carl anymore. But she did handle this, like you said, very sweetly, as Carl says all those nice things. I'm glad he says gorgeous a bunch of times. I think I've already talked about this. He says, you're gorgeous. You're gorgeous. You're so beautiful. But then he finally lets the other adjectives or more meaningful things about her. And they're all very, they're all resonant and they make sense. And that he truly feels that way. But she says, because of all of the previous stuff, she would never, where she is with Lindsay now, she would never do that. And then Carl's kind of left there, kind of hanging after professing his love. He just has to say, what does he say? I feel like a fucking loser.
Yeah, he's like, fuck my life. She said, she implied it here, and then on Watch What Happens, she also said that, like, she was attracted to him her first summer in the house, which I'm, like, not surprised, because that's when he was, like, an asshole and, like, like, exciting, and I feel like now he's friend-zoned,
You think so?
Yeah.
All right, I'm still holding the candle.
You and Carl are like, maybe one day you'll see.
What do they say? If all roads lead back, or if the universe wills it, quite possibly. But no, I just think that Sierra would never do something like that anymore. And her Carl era, she's gone. She's moved forward from that. But I was thinking, like, Carl can never take this back. This is like forever on his heart, on his sleeve, pinned to his jacket. It says, I secretly hold a major crush for Sierra, and had I not had my relationship with Lindsay, possibly this could have worked out, because Sierra said she thought of me more as not just a friend before the Lindsay era happened. So this is like going to be talked about forever. It's like a part of Carl's story now, that he always loved Sierra, and she rejected him in this moment. Kind of wild, kind of just a big new thing to think about in the dynamics of this group, I felt.
Yeah. He's like, I love that you're a nurse. It speaks to who you are. He, I think, said about her emotional intelligence again. So yeah, he really, I think, thought about it a lot. But do you think that, I don't know. It felt like a little bit like, he was like, why not, like, do it for the cameras? Like, I'm willing to take a risk here. I think he knew it probably work out, but he's like, I'll be a MVP here and let it all out on the line on camera.
Oh, wow. Let me take that in, but then let me defend Carl with all of my heart.
Not in like a fake way, just like that he was willing to do it, take a bullet for the show, because it was embarrassing.
Oh, yes. I think he had to know when he went into that this is a 50-50 proposition, bordering on 70-30, that this is not going to go well. And I do think that his courage to announce this on camera was because he knows that he's on a reality television show. This is a worthwhile conversation. But I think it is rooted in true feelings that he's always had, and he decided to take that chance, that shot right then because he couldn't not think about it anymore. So true intentions, real intentions. I told you I've been peeking back into Summer House a little bit. It was always there. But I do think obviously it's heightened in the reality television setting where you're having the most awkward conversation you've ever had in your life with the one person you don't want to have it with on camera because it's good for reality television. So I think it's those things in tandem for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's like, I've lost confidence in the last year and I'm finally getting my mojo back. So that's part of why he did it. And also, did you see in the preview for next week that
Yes.
Lindsay's new campaign is
Yes.
that she doesn't believe that he fucked someone else?
It made me laugh. I don't know why. I think I was, I don't know what, I was really tired or something, but I watched that scene because I closed my eyes the first time I watched it, then I watched it again. I was like, what the hell is Lindsay talking about? Now he's not cheating with Lil and having sex and doing all that stuff. Now he's lying about actually having sex. He never did it. I need to know the context. What if the first few sentences before are like justify it? But it made no sense to me out of context why she's now pretending that Carl fakes his sex relationships now for camera. I don't know why the hell she would ever say that, but I'm excited for next week for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Then we get Jesse is like, I'm being fucking ambushed. He approaches the girls and is like, what the hell is going on? Paige is like, you can't vent to us and then get mad when people find out about it because you're the one that said those things. She's like, if I were Lexi and I saw you acting the way that you were when she was away, I would have chopped off your other ball.
Yeah. She says, well, Paige catches herself. She goes, I would have cut off both of your ball. And then she goes, oh my God, I'm talking to a person with one ball. She goes, the one ball you have left. And I was like, damn, that was a correction right in the moment to acknowledge that he has one ball. I couldn't believe it. Right?
She slayed.
She absolutely killed it with that one. Yeah, Jesse's bummed out this entire party. I mean, he's
He's being so like mopey. He's like, I wasn't being touchy with anyone. And then of course they roll the bean footage of him like rolling over Sierra in the pool, like Austin Powers style. Like, oops, I've fallen over. Like
the dance they keep showing of Jesse with Sierra, you've never seen anything like it. It's like they have all of the footage of him being touchy. Oh, I have to really quick on that venting thing. I gotta say, let me get pissed for a second. Because they're on a reality television show, we were talking about this on the Valley 2 days ago on our Valley episode. Luke had to bring up the billionaire thing because we're on a reality television show. This is what it is. We tell the secrets and we spread them to the one person who needs to hear it. I don't think that should always be the logical endpoint for every single cast member. I think that some secrets can be kept in the vault until the end of filming, and I don't want that to be just a blanket rule. Everything you say is going to be out in the house. And so when Paige and Amanda were saying that, I was like, that's not the best excuse I've ever heard. I liked what Amanda said last week when it was like, I like Lexi enough to be like, I'm sad for her and worried for her. I have Kyle stuff where it makes me think of that or whatever. But I didn't like that. Like, if you tell it to us, we tell it to them. That's not sustainable. It's not right. I don't want to watch shows where they're just adhering to reality television principles and it's not the actual actions they would do in the moment. Does that make sense?
Yeah. This is like different than... Like venting is different than like spreading a rumor, you know? Because like I feel like if you're starting a fire and you're like, I heard that like her husband's gay, and then you tell them that they said that, you're like, well, I had to tell them about that.
Yes.
But this was more like he was just like, I think I'm not saying what he did was okay or good, but I think they're different.
It just gives him a little more footing to say like, damn, like I was approaching you with some things that I was worried about, and you are my friends, and to be honest, I didn't expect that just to instantly be echoed to her. And I know, people will be like, Jesse deserves that shit. He said horrible stuff. It should always come back, but I don't know, not necessarily, not all the time. And I understand at least 30% of how he's feeling, where he's like, I didn't think that you would do that. I really didn't think that my friends, I thought that you would listen to my honest feelings and not necessarily tell it to Lexi in the least or in the most inflammatory way, which is what he assumes Amanda did. Said it in like the most inflammatory version of that.
Right. But then he continues to put his foot in his mouth.
Major.
And he's like, I wasn't even being touchy. Then Lindsay's like, well, there was also that thing where you said that if you would have gotten here before Wes, that maybe you would have ended up with Sierra instead. And he's like, I was just trying to make Sierra feel better. And Sierra's right there. And she goes, whoa, 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 whoa. Like, what are you talking about? Like, fuck you.
She was so pissed. Oh my God.
Because that's embarrassing. Like
Yeah.
that, I mean, she's so hot that it's like not embarrassing. But if she was like anyone else, like if it were me, I'd be like, go kill yourself.
No, it was so bad. It was the worst thing to say at that moment. Sierra's
like,
already.
She's all that or something. Like it was a prank, or like it was just a, you know, like the girl with glasses. And it's like, she's literally Sierra. Like she's hot as fuck. Like, what are you talking about? I mean, the thing is, he's full of shit. Like,
yes,
he was just trying to weasel out of it, and like no one believes that.
Yeah, and now he's claiming these are 2 jokes now. The toe sucking was a joke, one of the best jokes of the century. Ha ha! Look at what I did. That was a joke. And then the second joke now is what the thing he said to Sierra, that he wished he would have gone for her. Like, that was absolutely not a joke in any way. And Sierra's rightfully absolutely pissed off. She goes, "You're a weirdo for that. Fuck you, Jesse." She walks away, and like, that's going to be hard to regain. Well, actually, I was going to say it's going to be hard to regain Sierra's friendship again, but we know actually in real
they were
now.
partying at Coachella. She also said that she always has a good time with him. They're just friends. She denied that online rumor that they both pointedly skipped Lexi's birthday. I don't know. I mean, I assume they didn't go, but she was like, let me just say right now, we weren't like, you know, trying to do anything with that. But I think she hates Lexi now.
Oh my God, I can't wait to see, because Lexi is Lexi's surprising me. Some of the moves she makes in this episode, I was like, damn, like I am kind of confused as to what ends up being the final straw with Jesse and Lexi, but we'll get to that. I have to say this moment, everyone jump in a bed, right? This is when everyone jumps into bed, and I love when they say, not everyone jumps into bed, Paige, Amanda, and Sierra. And then I love when they said, this is one of our best parties. It's the coolest thing we've ever done. All other parties are pure shit. And they go, can you believe what Carl wanted? He wanted a full-blown baggy pants party where it would celebrate his love of baggy pants, and everyone would have to show up wearing baggy pants. What did you think about that?
Like, what does that even mean? Like Janko jeans? Like, that's not a theme.
Yeah, and am I right to say that that's what they said that Carl wanted? Yeah. Big baggy pants party.
It's just funnier to do skinny jeans party, because that's really what he's known for.
Well, I think that there's a way to have our cake and eat it too, and make skinny jeans, big jeans party, and everyone gets to choose.
Like half and half.
Yeah, it's called big jeans, skinny jeans, and it's. You choose what you want, the tightest jeans you've ever worn in your life or the biggest, baggiest pants anyone can ever wear. Now, that's an image when you're thinking of that as a party. I think Carl just needed to workshop that a little bit more.
I agree. Also,
could you imagine, could you imagine you're at a party, Kyle's got skinny jeans on, West has baggy jeans on.
Oh, I could absolutely picture it immediately. They also, speaking of West, they showed him doing the limbo while holding his little candlestick. Yes. And I was like, this rules.
It was so cool. He was doing everything in the world you can do dressed up like that. He did I don't know what that move is called. Splits? Uh-huh. Splits down, bouncing up and down. And even... at one point, I think Sierra and Amanda and everyone have to acknowledge that it's one of the best things they've ever seen in their life.
Yeah, great costume. Bravo even memed it, a meme straight out of our mouth, if Scrooge slayed.
Yeah, I saw that. If Scrooge slayed, and they have him with the 3 Christmas ghosts in different scenarios. But I guess, I give us so much credit, but also when that outfit popped on the screen, there's only 3 things you'd think: Rip Van Winkle, him, Scrooge, Scrooge, Rip Van Winkle, and then just like a sleepy person in the 1800s. Generics.
Not licensed Scrooge. I mean, that's public at this point, right?
Oh, absolutely. That's why
We
you
should
see
make
so many.
Scrooge merch.
We can go so nuts. We could do a Bravo Christmas Carol. You can do anything you want with the Christmas Carol now. That's why there's so many Christmas Carol movies. You get to make one a year. That's why they even have that Man Who Invented Christmas movie. Have you heard about that? No. Okay.
Okay. The girls, Sierra's like, oh, get this. Fucking Carl. She's nice about it. She's updating them, but she's like, she's not being like, can you fucking believe this?
Yeah.
She's like, Carl said he has a crush on me. And she's like, I love my friendship with Carl, but I absolutely cannot date someone else in this house.
Yeah.
And
Paige laughs a little too hard.
Paige is like ready to rip. Like if the other two wanted to rip in, she would have ripped in. But Amanda's like, no, like he's loyal to you. He knows that you've always stuck by him and been an amazing friend. Plus, you're so beautiful. I think he's just confused because that's what he's looking for right now, and he can't find it in someone else.
Yeah.
And Sierra's like, you're probably right. And Paige is like, I mean.
Yeah, no, but I was like, Paige, I mean, you kissed Carl.
Yeah.
You wanted him to call you on Wednesdays in the city and have dates. So I didn't think it was absolutely so laughable. But I think it was kind of the two different reactions, kind of like the cringe or cute thing.
Angel devil.
Yeah.
I am a little bit curious about. I always say I need to rewatch Summer House to have a better blend of understanding of the old ways of those characters versus now. I wonder if because they've all known Carl this whole time, so they have the most true understanding of him. But I wonder if it just feels like a totally different time. Like Paige doesn't even think of him that way anymore at all. Like I feel like he has there's a neutered version of him now.
Let's just say you and I might be watching it together. Wink, wink. The old episodes, right?
Maybe so. We shouldn't make any rash decisions after 8 p.m.
I want to say I'll give a sneak peek at the old thing. There is such a huge demarcation of Carl. Can I say this?
If you watch on YouTube, Riley was winking for like a minute before he said that. So I was like, are you okay?
Yeah, it was like the worst weeking I've ever done in my life. Don't go on YouTube and watch it, please, for the love of God. It was Carl has a very, very distinct demarcation between the shitty Carl that everyone still thinks he is, season 4, and season 5. He is like a completely different person, almost in every way. The Carl I know now is the post season 5 Carl, and when you watch Carl season 3 and season 4, you're like, who is this person? What alien left Carl's body and left him back to human for season 5 on? It's shocking, actually. So I can't wait to. More Life is right. I don't know what the hell. Something about after post More Life, Carl just completely changed everything about him. So we'll watch. I mean, I'm not promising anything, but we'll definitely we'll get to see that firsthand someday, I'm sure.
Yes. They talk about Jesse that. They all agree he hasn't learned anything. He has no idea what the hell is going on. Paige goes about Sierra. She's like, I don't need some guy to make me feel better about this other guy over here with the candle. And it cuts to West like grooving with his candlestick.
Yeah, he was he was doing the pose of like when Scrooge sees Jacob Marley come in his room. Do you remember the first night?
He's terrified.
Yeah, Jacob Marley is the one who says you have to atone for your evil deeds, or else you're going to wear these chains forever in eternity. Kind of an early version of hell.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Tom Schwartz and Kyle go into the kitchen and they go, let's talk about kids again.
This felt forced. I was like,
yeah.
How did you get like a little nudge that they didn't get their it weren't satiated the first time? I was like, we already talked about this.
Yeah, I think Kyle had to jerk off really quick in that first one. And so that kind of cut their conversation short. And so this was kind of like, what could Tom Schwartz talk about with Kyle? What are they syncing up in life about? And that it did scream producer-driven conversation a little bit. And then they both say, I can't believe we're both 42 and 41 and we don't have kids. I never thought it would be like this. I never thought I'd be the old dad. And they were like, when my kid is 20, we'll be 60. And I was like, I don't know. That doesn't sound that crazy.
Yeah, like who cares?
Yeah, it's
In
not,
New York, like
yeah. I mean, I guess I'm thinking of that, like for myself. I mean, that's basically the exact same thing, but it's like 60-20.
yeah. I mean, that's about how old my dad was, so it's not weird to me.
Plus 60 is the new 50. Who knows what the hell it's going to be when you're 60? 60 will be the new 40.
Yeah, like they said, the next person that's going to live to 150 has already been born.
Really? Oh my God. I'm hoping that well, never mind. I was going to say, I hope that we don't ever die. Okay. Paige is watching Cat Cam.
He's just reading my notes. She checks in on what's her freaking cat's name? Little
Daphne.
Daphne, yeah. So she's a full blown cat mom. I did see a meme because the Gigglers have been touring like crazy, and they were on the. I don't know. Was this on the Amy Poehler podcast? I saw it memed from more places or like posted to more people that don't normally post stuff like this, that they said, if you hate cats, you hate women. And I was like, sure.
Yeah, of course. I think that makes sense. Yeah, it's perfect. Perfect logic.
It was like signed, sealed, delivered. Perfect. They order like 10 bags of McDonald's. I was like, this rocks. That was probably like $300, literally.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was so awesome. I could not imagine the feeling after having a beautiful sleep-themed party where you're partying your ass off and then getting delivered 10 beautiful big heaping bags of McDonald's. Did you get a glimpse at the kind of shit they were ordering?
I saw there was nuggets.
Nuggets were free. They're called Team Nuggets. It was what's that called? Free for all. Anyone could have any amount of nuggets they wanted. Two of those bags were probably just nuggets. And then I just saw various cheeseburgers. I didn't get a glimpse at anything very specific. I really wanted to know, but Jesse was just eating like a classic cheeseburger. No like unique combinations or anything.
I'm a fish fillet girl, so I would have been alone in the corner with my fish fillet.
I got to eat one of those someday.
So good.
I get the I get that fresh quarter pounder. Have you ever had that? Nice. Oh no, of course not. No. Okay. All right.
Back in the day, I was a Big Mac girl, but okay. Lexi goes into her room and calls her sister about Jesse and is lamenting about his behavior. She starts crying. Gabby comes in. Lindsay Hubbard comes in, and she's like, "He's making me look like a psycho." Like that's her thing now. Is like he's basically going around to everyone making me sound like shit.
Yeah, and here's a good Lexi point, like a point on Lexi's tally of things that are wrong. She thinks that people have been withdrawn from her in the house and that her season arc, in a way, is being shaped by Jesse saying, get a load of what this person is doing behind the scenes, making me unfollow people on Instagram and stuff. And it's like, it's true in a way. If Amanda said, that's psychotic, I hate that, I want you to gas me up on Instagram for the rest of your life, that could have skewed Amanda's perception. I'm not saying whether or not it's true or not. I'm just saying that I understand where Lexi's coming from, that people's view of her is being shaped by Jesse informing them of all of these things. And if they're not 100% accurate, they're negatively affecting how they view Lexi. So it's very reasonable, I think, for her to be so upset about that.
Right. Yeah. And as a first season member, you actually should be concerned because the pile is high of one season wonders on Summer House.
They have the best casting record, and they also have the worst casting record. They did Paige and Hannah, and then Jesse and Wes, four of the best Bravo celebrities that we've ever seen into. Well, sorry to say that, but Jesse and Wes are obviously amazing cast members. Paige and Hannah, but then they have the biggest run of duds you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's kind of shocking when you rewatch, which I don't know if we'll ever do that. But okay, and then I have to comment on this. I have to ask you. I've been thinking about this. I've been tossing and turning for 2 nights since I watched this. Schwartz is eating pickles. He goes, do you think these are still good? And then he goes, the boys, everyone come outside. The boys are getting ready to watch a limited edition director's cut version of Zootopia on a laptop. What the hell? What?
Shocking.
What the hell? Where did that come from? You can't just say, sorry to scream. You can't just say we're gonna go watch Zootopia and not explain
Why?
how you made that decision, who said it first. It's just way too random of a movie for them to. So I need to watch What Happens Live, or you need to tell me whenever this gets in the after show. You got to tell me where the hell that came from, because we're recording this before the after show, before
If it
Watch
even
What Happens
exists, it hasn't been on the past few weeks. Like, they're just dropping the ball. But
It-
I thought at first that there was some sort of an apparatus outside for them to like screen a movie.
Me too.
And I was like, whoa, is this like the first time they've ever done that? And then it cut to them outside and they were just on a fucking laptop. And I'm like, you're all too old to watch Zootopia. Like, what do you mean? Like, what?
Well, I think Zootopia it's Madagascar or Zootopia that was written by Noah Baumbach, right? So, no, I think it was Madagascar. Okay, but I was just thinking maybe Zootopia is very comforting.
It came out in 2016.
I know, that's why. It couldn't have been a more random movie. If I'm not going to think off the top of my head what would have even surprised me more. It's one of the most random films. So unfortunately, if you're listening to this and you're like, they explained it, it makes perfect sense. Amy and I don't know. We're living in a world where no one knows the answer to why they watch Zootopia. Flood us with every comment in the world of if they actually explain this when it happens. And I'll be happy to read every single one.
That's one of those movies that like I've heard is good, like we
Yeah.
feel like, oh, it's actually good. But yeah, it's a little weird because it's not nostalgic for them because it came out 8 years ago.
I really,
So,
I
I don't know.
cannot think of a movie I'd be more shocked by, because like almost everything that I can imagine makes more sense. But I'm sure there will be some perfect reason. Schwartz said it's an amazing movie, and he got to choose the movie night because he was in town, and so like he said, let's all watch Zootopia. It's one of my secret cult classics that I love.
They all fall asleep watching a different animated movie recently, like Craig and
Hop, what's that? Hop,
Hop on Pop.
no, you do know that Hop, Hoptopia? I don't know. If it's not Pixar or Disney,
Oh, there's a movie called Hop.
yeah, Hop. Yeah.
James Marsden.
I think that
Russell
James
Brand.
Russell Brand. When was it made? And no, so
2011.
I think Craig and Paige were watching Hop. I'm almost positive. So they watched Hop, but I don't know any of those movies. I know there's going to be an era where I'll be praying for Zootopia. But we want to know the answer to this, and then they kind of do a little bit of what's that show, Mystery Science Theater, where they riff on it. They kind of have this back and forth where they go, that giraffe is tall, Carl is tall. Could you imagine if Carl was that giraffe in Zootopia? And I was like, holy shit! Like, did we get the unedited version of Summer House? Like, I could not believe that this was all happening. I was very excited to see it.
Wild. And then they all just left West. He wanted to sleep outside, and he made it all the way to 4 a.m. despite the fact that it rained for almost 2 hours while he was outside, which is amazing.
It was pouring from 3 to 4 or something. He finally goes inside, and then we wake up the next morning. How are we doing on time?
I mean, we can zip through. It's like Schwartz is being a cutie with Paige and Sierra, and it's like, cherish your friendships. My group in LA is in absolute turmoil.
We don't have to. We don't have to rush. We're towards the end of the episode, so I just wanted to be cognizant of our time. But no, I want to talk about everything a lot more if you have more time. Okay, yeah. Like you said, this is when Schwartz pops in and he says, "I'm about to leave, but I just had to say goodbye to you all." And this is when he thinks that they're so sweet sleeping like that, right?
Yeah.
This was in the trailer. This was the final scene of the trailer that had you and I squealing with joy, because it ends with Schwartz saying, "Cherish your friendships because you never know, what will happen to them."
Right. Okay, then Jesse is forlorn in the kitchen. He doesn't know why Sierra's mad at him. He's like, is it because I made that one freaking joke? And Amanda's like, maybe it wasn't a good time for jokes. Your jokes are kind of flopping lately. Maybe you shouldn't do that. And then Lexi comes down, and he goes, is there a special order you would want besides eggs and bacon that I'm making? And she goes, for you to stop talking shit about me. And I was like, whoa, it's giving, for you to die.
Oh yeah. Oh, it really was. Now that you say that, it was a total for you to die moment. Also, Lexi said, "I can't." Lindsay goes, "How much McDonald's did you eat last night?" And she goes, "I couldn't eat any McDonald's. I was crying all night."
Right. Nothing would stop me.
Oh my God, no! I would have said I would have smelled that McDonald's from whatever room I was in and come floating down the rafters. I would have, yeah, I would have. Oh my God, nothing could have stopped me. That shows you. It's a testament to how upset Lexi was that she couldn't even eat one chicken nugget down there.
Sad. Yeah, and Schwartz is still with the other girls, and he's like, "Yeah, I gotta say, Jesse seemed defeated last night. I think their relationship is over."
Yeah.
And all the bedbugs are like, "Honestly, like we're sick of him."
Yeah. Can I say one thing about that sacred relationship when Schwartz was talking about them? When he's like, never be me, never be us. I used to have a friend group like that, and we were destroyed. Like, we don't love each other anymore. I immediately thought of the Vanderpump Rules cast, and I was like, nothing like what happens in the Vanderpump Rules group would ever happen in the Summer House group. Like, there could be cheating or whatever, but like they'll never be like the Vanderpump Rules group. Like, all of a sudden, as like the Vanderpump Rules group is almost kind of like almost bordering on evil compared to the beautiful people on Summer House. I love Vanderpump Rules and all of the cast members independently, but their dynamic as a group borders on pure evil, and they all have the most toxic, horrible relationships with each other. Malignant nightmare. I mean, James, now what we're learning about Jax, all this shit, and I'm just like, wow, no, Summer House is like, when you think about it, like, it's a pure beaming ball of beautiful light. And those friends, for the most part, even though the Lindsay and Carl shit, that's like nothing compared to what's going on over in Vanderpump Rules. So it really was like, Schwartz doesn't even need to compare them. They'll never be like the Vanderpump Rules group. And then
that's what Paige said.
Yeah, she says unless Kyle cheats on Amanda.
I thought she said Amanda cheats on Kyle.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's
she did a little switcheroony.
Oh, that's okay. That's fun. But anyway, I wanted to talk about that because it really got me thinking about the Vanderpump Rules friend group and kind of being nostalgic, but also thinking about them a little more.
Yeah, like it's not surprising that basically everyone on Vanderpump Rules for the most part is like, yeah, I was ready to be done.
Yeah,
you know?
No, yeah, they're not happy anymore. Okay, and then a conversation gets a little heated in the kitchen. And it's not just from the oven cooking bacon. It's that everyone wants to have an all hands on deck conversation about Jesse and Lexi. Mainly Lexi wants to have this conversation because she's like, I'm tired of you skewing shit, and I don't know what the hell you're going to say without me, so let's all be here. And Gabby is kind of helping, defending Lexi in this situation, with her.
Yes, she loves to be a representative. So yeah, she's like she's like trying to say, like, in layman terms, this is how you fucked up and this is why she's mad. And he's like, I think she says something like, you don't have to shut down. And he's like, he totally is shut down, but he's like, I'm listening. I'm not trying to fight about it. I'm just trying to listen. But you can tell he like wants to die.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've never seen Jesse like this. It's like his soul was sucked out. He's having the worst time of his life. And it's like, I think I could manage that one. Just apologize, like what Wes says later. Just like apologize, and I don't know. He's kind of just he's shutting down and he's not giving any counter. And he also ends up saying that he doesn't believe anything that Lexi's saying. But it's like there is some truth there of what Lexi's talking about. It's real.
Yeah. He's like, at one point he can't find the pan and the baking sheet and stuff, and he's just like wandering around, and Amanda's like, you're like a lost soul right now, like, are you okay? And he's like, it's so bad. And Gabby's like, I'm not getting that you're understanding what we're saying right now. And Lexi goes, he doesn't, and that's why I don't want to date him. And Wes is like, wait, but like, what's the actual conflict? What's going on? And she goes, he's talking shit to everyone in the house. Like, she's very fed up in this moment. Yeah, she's saying, and guess what? She drops a bomb on all of them at this beautiful breakfast on Sunday. She goes, he's saying all this shit, and then he got mad at me for flirting with you, West, at that club. And then Jesse goes, that's not what happened. I didn't do any such thing. And it's like,
Jesse, I mean, you're kind of busted. You were drunk and you said it in a weird way where I couldn't tell if you were truly jealous, but you sounded sort of jealous. You weren't just comparing your behavior with Sierra to what she was doing with Wes. Also, we know that what Lexi and Wes were doing was not weird at all. And then Wes says, I have no memories. I would never do anything like that. I have a platonic relationship, so don't bring me into this, fuckface. He says.
I know, he's like, I've had enough, like Alex McCord, there's been enough drama.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, she's pissed. She goes, because I think is it Wes that goes, but you guys are still exclusive, right? And she goes, I don't want to be exclusive. He can shove exclusive out the fucking window. I'm done.
She should have said up his ass.
Yeah.
Didn't you want her to say
Canadian pivot?
She goes, I'm seeing big fat fucking red flags. I gotta say, I was kind of proud of Lexi. I like Lexi and Jesse's relationship, and I don't want them to end, whatever. I don't like it, I don't dislike it. I want them both to be happy. I want whatever works. I like them together. But I was actually very proud of Lexi for being able to voice all of her concerns, drop bombshells, have a conversation in front of the entire room that felt organic, bring up the West stuff. Like, she handled herself really well. She goes, there's a lot of fat fucking red flags, and you could take this exclusivity and shove it up your fucking ass. I was like, God damn, Lexi. She kind of killed it for a first-time cast member, expressing her views in the house.
Totally. Yeah, and then Kyle's like, all right, guys, like, it's Sunday. Like, you guys maybe just need to talk on the side. Like, let's pipe down.
I was kind of surprised by that. I was like, does Kyle have a rule where Sundays are beautiful and no new conflict can be arisen because
he probably had like Sunday scaries and was like, I can't take this.
Yeah, he really does say, he says, pipe down, stop talking, let's just make breakfast. I was like, Kyle, I don't think you can demand that everybody not fight on Sunday, especially if it's something that Lexi really wants to talk about.
Right.
Yeah.
Then we get West and Jesse in their room. West, you can tell, is like, doesn't want to say too much because I think thinks that he's wrong. So he's trying to be supportive, but he doesn't really get too in the weeds about it. He's like, do you agree with anything she's saying? And Jesse's like, no, like, I guess all those flags that I was talking about were because, you know, there were yellow flags and maybe we're not each other's person. So he's saying, like, I guess I should have been talking to everyone about the flags because look at what happens. Like, we don't get along, you know?
Yeah. I don't think West is actively rooting for this relationship at this point. You know, he's seen a lot of stuff that he just doesn't really like, so he's having a hard time of like what advice to give. But he says, just say sorry. Just say sorry. And then Jesse is treating it like it's very final. He's like, I don't know if I can do this. And then that's when Wes gives him a beautiful hug. And he says, a good old breakup after 5 weeks of dating.
I feel like West is like really, Jesse keeps trying to be like, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, I know how you feel. Like, it's not worth it to date somebody in the house. And you can tell that Wes is like, don't fucking pull me into this. I'm barely out of the woods right now. Like, I'm not saying shit.
I know nothing of which you speak.
Yeah, like,
from
fuck off.
last season. Sierra has a bag. Her bag has a big string on it to pull her back in the house. And I said, I was thinking, did Carl put a big string? Yeah, did Carl put a big string?
Okay, then we flash to NYC. Were you shocked by this appearance?
Oh my God, when we ultimately see who is revealed, Danielle. Yes, I loved it. Danielle goes to visit one of her good friends in the city, maybe best friend. I don't know where they stand now. Lindsay is having an ultrasound. This struck a chord with me. I have been to these type of appointments, and I thought it was a sweet and beautiful scene of them talking about what the ultrasound means and the heartbeat and everything. Anything you want to hone in on?
I actually found Lindsay to be funny in this because the way she joked about getting dumped, it was like finally a joke, you know? Like, she was like, Danielle's like, we couldn't be in a more different place than we were a year ago. And she goes, yeah, I got freaking pretty much left at the altar. And they have a laugh. And I was like, yes, like, let's joke. Like, it's not a big deal anymore. Like, let's have a laugh.
Yeah, and let's mark it. Lindsay was funny in this scene, right? I mean, I think that it was very true. I enjoyed Lindsay's presence this entire episode. I thought she was fun. I love when she shut the party down and said, I need to eat all of this McDonald's, so please leave. Oh, could you imagine how hard it was for those partygoers to leave, knowing that there was big bricks of McDonald's in the house?
I would be the one that would be like, but can I stay?
That's we've talked about this many times. You and I are hiding behind the living room curtains by the time they're asking, do they must have outhouses. They don't let all those people use their toilets.
Yeah, I bet they have like a honey wagon out front or something.
Wow, so Kyle is pissing in the yard and he has a honey wagon, a beautiful honey wagon that he could be pissing in.
And then Danielle is like, well, whenever you get married next, at least you'll have a normal flower girl. And then they roll the flashback of Kyle being asked to be the flower girl, which I'm like, I'd be sad if I lost that. Like, that actually, I think someone should do that. I think Carl should do that. Well, he should be both best man and flower boy.
Yes, it's such a not visceral, but it's such an image that burns in my mind. If we would have gotten to see Kyle going down the aisle, blowing beautiful petals on either side of him down the altar, it's like I see it now. I don't even have to close my eyes.
That is something where I'm like, if everything really goes to shit and we just live in like an AI slop society and we just have to like order up our entertainment through like what we want to see, I would prompt Carl and Lindsay's wedding.
Yeah.
If it were to have happened, they would have fought that day, like the whole way leading up. Like they would probably be like not speaking like as she came down the aisle.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, fan fiction is built on this shit. You know, like we could imagine with all of our might, like a hypothetical wedding between them, and yeah. I mean, you could just imagine every step of the way if we put our minds to it. I was thinking about this because you just said AI slop. There's so much fucking AI now. It's like well, okay. I'm not ranting, but I'm on Gmail and it's like, Gemini, let me write your email, and then I'm on a image platform and they're like, I'm gonna make that image for you, and like and like people are like, I ask questions now and people be like, put it in chat GPT, what are you asking me for? I'm like, AI went from 0 to fucking 100 in the last 4 months. I've never seen anything like it. And my last thing is that I think that Turtle Time, when we get to AI slop city, I don't know if AI could perfectly...
Jesus, take the wheel. Let them do it.
No. I want them to. Obviously, that would be a huge weight off my shoulders. But I don't know if AI could perfectly replicate what you and I do. Let's see AI try to do an 1.5 to 3 hour podcast sitting around Bravo with a bunch of weird, unnecessary tangents.
It'd be like, Carl is a perfect gentleman. I really like his personality. And then Scrooge came out.
That reminds me of a movie. Have you seen that movie that kind of is like that? Goodfellas. No. I'm just saying that I do think it could probably get... Okay, we'll put out an episode that's completely AI because Riverside allows us to do AI. We'll put out an AI episode one day when Amy and I want to take a week off, and you let us know, did it even come close to the 10 out of 10 experience that you get from Turtle Time? I doubt it.
Yeah. Did you know... I know they do this with like the big podcasts where they scrub your voice and then they can translate you into every language. And so it could be like, bienvenidos, tortugas pequeños.
Someone is listening now in Spanish, and then they just got that in English of you doing that. Yes. Did you know that Riverside, I'm being honest, I could write words saying, I love Charmin toilet paper. It's my favorite in the world. You have no idea what this feels like. And they can read it in my voice already, right now.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm gonna I'm gonna frame you.
Okay, you could do a full Turtle Time with me and write in all of my answers, but that's another day. I'm just saying, what the hell is going on with this AI shit? Oh my God, I'm worried.
I saw oh my God. What's his name? Tiger King?
Joey.
Joe Exotic posted an AI slop of Trump holding up a t-shirt that said "Free Joe Exotic."
And it was perfect. If you just sort of squint your eyes a little bit, you're basically seeing Trump holding up "Free Joe Exotic" in the White House. Absolutely. I'm worried because like soon, obviously, they have the technology to just make full 3-hour movies.
Yeah.
Completely AI. Anyway, okay, we got to move forward. I could talk about all day about AI. I've just been really thinking about it a lot. Okay, yeah. Lexi and Jesse.
The last thing I'll say is that her OB told her to do the massage of her vagine, and she was like, that looks a lot like an awful lot like a finger bang, and they show the finger bang clip, and I have to say that was like a groundbreaking moment to me as a viewer of Summer House, where I was like, I think this is the only reality show I've ever watched that talked about a finger bang.
Oh yeah, and they talk about it that entire season. Apparently, Carl he gave a finger to Lindsay, and they didn't even make out or kiss or anything. It was
Yeah,
just
very clinical.
just one finger. Anyway, yeah, it's kind of
Yeah,
shocking.
I'd be
to,
like, when I was telling people to watch Summer House, I'd be like, there's a whole plot line about a finger bang. And
One
I'm
of
like,
my-
if that gives you any, you know.
One of my favorite things in Summer House history is when Carl gets so upset because he ran after Luke. I'm not going to spoil too much, but he runs after Luke for some reason. And then he comes back and he's sort of a little bit upset. And Danielle goes behind the curtain. She goes, can I give you a hand job really quick to help you out? And she's dating Robert at the time. She's
a
offered.
demon. She's like a little sex pest. She really is.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, but
As
okay.
of Winter House, she was.
All right, Lexi,
Okay.
Lexi, Jesse. Okay, okay. This is when God, you and I are talking long. Lexi and Jesse meet up, and Lexi has a sign in her house that says, "This is the sign you've been looking for." What is that? I said, "What does that mean?" I thought that, but then now I kind of get it. This is
Yeah,
this.
it's not that deep.
This is the sign you're looking for. A sign is it means two things, right?
I mean, I would prefer "Welcome to Reality, please return again soon," but you know,
But this is the sign you're looking for. It's a sign as well as this is a sign, a prophetic vision of. Okay, sorry, that makes a lot more sense to me now. Jesse comes in. He's still totally without his usual spirit. He goes, "I've had one hell of a week, Lexi. This sucks." And he also says, "I don't want our relationship to be ruined because of a bunch of stupid shit I did. I apologize, and I don't want to stop seeing you." And I was really surprised. I thought that this would have been Jesse saying, "This is obviously way too much turmoil for an early relationship. I think we should both end this thing." But he goes hat in hand, fully ready to resolve this and apologize and keep this relationship going. Was that a shock to you?
yeah, I was kind of underwhelmed by this conversation in general because it felt like they ended up in the same place that they started. Like I was like, because she's not wowed by what he says. She goes, "Yeah, but I don't know, like I'm not really into like going back and forth. I'm kind of like a love ya and leave ya kind of gal." And she's like, "We might not be compatible, so I guess we just have to decide if it's worth it." So I was just like, okay, like
Yeah, but I guess it was surprising to me that Lexi has the initiative to want to end this thing.
she's in the power seat.
She's kicking Jesse to the curb a little bit. He came saying, "I'm going to apologize for absolutely everything. I want to make this work." And she says, "No, it's too tiring doing this stuff. I don't think we're compatible." Yeah. I don't know what I expect. I thought they would both probably end this thing now, this episode, but I don't know, I guess, where they're ultimately going to be. Can I say, though, what actually did shock me and stun me and make me very surprised was this Kyle and Amanda dinner. That's the final scene. If the Australian dinner that Craig and Paige had was like a 6 out of 10, I think this Kyle and Amanda dinner at the same Australian restaurant was like a 9 out of 10.
Wow.
I just thought it was a huge, big revelation, and Kyle seemed actually stunned in the moment that this was Amanda's thought process. So let's describe the scene now. That's just my thoughts going in. But they have a rare lunch date in the city. They heard how good this Australian restaurant was, so they want to eat all the same foods that Paige and Craig got. I guess they didn't think about the bad stigma that restaurant has. Amanda orders bruschetta, and then they bring this pile of shit.
It was giving pancetta.
Yeah. And I think she goes, she was really nice. She was really nice about it. She goes, "I think I must have misread the menu, but that waiter definitely misheard her say bruschetta and gave pancetta." Right? Don't you think?
Yeah, she was like, "Where's my bruschetti?"
Yeah, she goes, "I wanted to see a big heaping pile of tomatoes on my plate, and instead I got whatever the hell this is." But she
Fucking
was
gabagool.
Yeah, but she was so nice about it. And then Amanda talks about the strides she's made this year from last year. Kyle was famously screaming last year. He was so overwhelmed with Loverboy, but then
He
Amanda
went from screaming to semen.
Oh my God! You could
I'm like,
really
episode title.
scream. From screaming to semen. We'll see. Let's sit on that
I don't
one.
know if that gets flagged.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe we can't have semen. But what is this rare blood work? Speaking of red
he
flags,
won't tell us what his blood work red flag. He said something about his testes working overtime to produce semen.
he said they're pumping out too much semen every time. He says that way too much semen is coming out of his penis from
And wait,
his.
semen's different than that is just the fluid. That's not the same as the sperms.
Oh, don't put me on the spot. I thought semen was the full.
It's your anatomy.
Oh shit! I think semen is the full thing, the full drip. Wait, I have to say, he said Kyle has a red flag on his blood work. Were the producers and editors who are naming the titles, they're like, we want to say flag every single episode. They keep talking about it, but they wasted it so early on that beach bags and red flags episode.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay, but so I didn't know this diagnosis, but apparently maybe some men, when they're starting to be infertile, your penis starts working overtime to pump out a lot of semen to like make up for the fact that you
It's
might
like,
be.
at least if a lot of fluid comes out, there would be like some sperms in it.
Yeah, and I don't know, and this
And
is
then
obviously.
Schwartz's sperms were all deformed.
Yeah, his I don't even want to say what his were doing. The morphology was, if I heard correctly, 4% had normal shaped heads.
Pathetic morphology.
Pathetic. And then Amanda goes, she's eating pancetta, and she goes, he goes, can you imagine if I'm sterile? And you can kind of tell. I know Kyle's, I can read him like a book a little bit. I could tell that he was not in a fun spirit when he said that. There was some caution and worry when he said it. And then Amanda goes, is there a chance? And he goes, yeah. And then that's when Amanda drops a bomb on Kyle's lap. She goes, it wouldn't be the end of the world. And Kyle has this look. I've watched it multiple times. He goes, what do you mean? And you could tell that I think sometimes Kyle has that producer hat on where he knows how a conversation is going to navigate. But I think it has lost him a little bit. And he was kind of zoned out, looking straight ahead, being like, what are you about to tell me right now on camera? I think it was a surprise, a legitimate shock to him that Amanda said this. I don't think they went to the lunch date to discuss this. I think she kind of dropped this on him in the moment.
Yeah, I think she saw that he was like freaked out, and she was like, I don't know, like I'm in a weird place, like it's not that serious. But she goes, there's some days when I'm like, why am I not pregnant yet? What are we doing? What are we waiting for? And then there's other days where I'm like, should I even have kids? And he's like, what? How long have you felt that way? And she's like, kind of like a year.
Yeah, and Kyle, they give him the sting noise. I barely noticed these now, but they show his eyes, and you could tell he's getting upset, and they do that big sting noise. And then the camera goes, I'm going to film Kyle's fingers. Get a load of Kyle's fingers. And Kyle's like scratching his fingers out of nervousness, about what they're about to talk about. Kind of wild. Kyle's not off his game, like that, a lot of the time. She's saying she's struggling to take care of herself, and she doesn't know if she's suited to take care of someone else. And she's been thinking about this for a year. And that's when Kyle, again, he's floored by that, because he's like, you've been thinking about this for a year and you're just telling me now. He never thought for even 1 second that it was not a matter of if, but when. But she's telling him it quite possibly could never happen.
Right. Yeah, it's a little late in the game to be having these conversations. Like with Craig and Paige, I'm like, you can change your mind all you want. Like, you whatever. And I mean, of course you can still change your mind once you're married, but it's like you thought you had an agreement.
Yes, yeah, and I'll say I was thinking the entire time, I was like, Kyle has been pretty clear ever since he started his relationship with Amanda. I mean, I think they talked about kids so many times throughout their entire relationship, and he's never wavered once. I mean, he's working and doing all this stuff, but I don't think he's ever even questioned for 1 second that he wouldn't have children. So I was in his shoes for a second listening to this revelation, with him, and I'm like, I can understand completely why he's shocked and why he's surprised that Amanda said that to him, and it's almost, they have a lot of trouble sometimes in their relationship. They really do. And I'm you and I both are like, I think even more, think of their relationship as very special, and we talk about it a lot. No, but like, I'm not even saying like, how shitty we are for saying that. But I think that a lot of people wish that this relationship would end, but I see a special spark between them. I'll just speak for myself. But then there's stuff like this where I'm like, this is a big deal. In addition to all of the other seemingly insurmountable stuff that you both deal with, I'm like, at a certain point, if there's 4 more things like this or 3 more things like this, you both have to admit that you are on completely separate pages in life, despite your deep love for each other. And I think we said that last season too. I don't think this is out of nowhere. And a lot of people will be like, of course, like they should break up, but I'm more of a defender of their relationship, you know.
Yeah. It was kind of like, I feel like she was testing the waters when she was like, it wouldn't be the biggest deal in the world. And he's like, what?
Yeah. He goes, my dad's 81. No, he didn't scream, but he goes, time's ticking for my dad to be a grandpa, you know, and you know, and they have that clip of him saying like, we're going to have one of these days. And then he says, this is why I give my blood, sweat, and tears to Loverboy. I'm not building an empire just for me and Amanda. I'm building an empire for my children and family, and that's what I'll do it for. So this is a huge deal for him. And then Amanda thought that maybe he had wavered because he's not asking all the time anymore. But he just says, I didn't expect you ever to say that. So he's kind of reeling from it. And then that's when they end the episode. Yeah,
it is kind of interesting that, I mean, I guess if you're just not actively trying, they're just not getting into those conversations yet. But I guess I was surprised that he's only now finding out that he might have an issue. Like, even if they're not actively trying, but I guess why would you think there would be an issue until you find out there is one?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't realize. When he took that semen test 2 weeks ago, did he get the results back? Or no, he already had the overflowing semen in... And then that's why he tested it, right? And then he's waiting for the results still?
Yeah, because that test was this same weekend, technically, I think.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, of course. What the hell? Yeah, of course. That was sorry.
No,
he got the blood test. Yeah, he got the mail-in. Okay. Any final thoughts on this episode? A great episode, right? We got 2 canon shifting things in the Summer House universe happen. Carl professes his deep love for Sierra, and we got Amanda admitting to Kyle for the first time that she might never want kids, in addition to still having the Lexi and Jesse drama, which is I'm not fully out yet. I still find it engaging. And then you also have the overlay of one of the most fun parties you could ever have. I mean, classic, iconic episode, right?
Good shit. And then it seems like next week Sierra and Jesse are gonna have problems. She lets them have it, so that will be fun. And Summer House always delivers. Gotta love it.
You gotta love it. And Lindsay does not believe for one goddamn second that Carl had sex in Montauk.
Yes. Can't wait.
All right, okay, let us shove off. Hey, I've got something. Can Amy and I put on our big nightcaps and pajamas and grab our candles and shove off to bed? Because I made Amy burn the midnight oil. You can look on YouTube. It's dark as hell outside. It looks like the summer house party without the generator on. Exactly. So at the end of this episode, I'll just say, if you liked what Amy and I talked about here, there is a place. It's a sanctuary for very important people called the Villa Rosa VIPs. And for $5 a month, $5, that's nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing. You get access to over 100 episodes of Amy and I recapping Vanderpump Rules from the very beginning. You and I are going through it over there on the Vanderpump Rules recap series. I think it's fun as hell. We're all the way almost to the end of season 6. And I think it's fun. There's no better way to spend $5. What else could you do with $5?
No. You'll have us in your ears at least 4, probably close to 5 hours a month for like $1 an hour.
$1 an hour. And we guarantee, don't hold us to this, 1 smile or 1 laugh per episode, 4 laughs a week, minimum. 4 laughs a week, $5. It doesn't get better than that. Even a comedian, you go to stand-up comedy, you don't get that dollar per laugh ratio ever in your life. And then we even have Villa Rosa VIPs who go back into the archives and they go, I'm just rediscovering this. We had a comment today I wanted to spotlight where they were like, I'm listening to this again. This is so fun. And I'm just like, oh my God, imagine possibly the joy of going back. Could you imagine if those episodes are actually good back in the archives? I can't even imagine.
Ugh, I'm sure. I don't know if they're better or worse. I think they're probably better.
I think yeah, I think they're better. Anyway, and then lastly, please review us. If you love Turtle Time and you hold it dear to your heart, but you've never spent 2 minutes writing an online review, please. That helps us so much. Some people say the sweetest thing in the world. They go on YouTube and they go, "How is this not the most popular, most uh, um, uh, celebrated podcast in all of the Bravo universe?" And I ask that same question every single night when I'm crying. Yeah, I say, how the hell is it possible? So just tell your friends, spread the word, give us love, spend Turtle Time Day. And I'm going to say, Amy, let's put on our sleeping pajamas and let's go to bed. Would you like to?
Please.
Good night.
Good night.